Hey guys, welcome back to Basics with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at Pantry Essentials. So many people have written in asking, what do I need to keep in my cabinets at all times? And I wanted to show you a few culinary mainstays that will help you build dishes from scratch and amp up dishes in progress. Let's get down to basics. Basics with Babish and the all-new basicswithbabish.com are brought to you by Squarespace. Head there now to check out recipes from the show, kitchen equipment lists, my personal blog posts, and more. Get 10% off your first Squarespace order with offer code BABISH. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Alright guys, so let's start by taking a look at salt. As you hopefully know by now, I'm a big fan of Kosher Salt. I like Diamond Crystal, but Morton's is also just fine. But we want to have a variety of different kinds of salt in our pantry. Coarse sea salt can be useful for garnishing breads or pretzels, and Maldon's giant crispy sea salt flakes are great for finishing steaks and anything that you want to add a little bit of crunch to, but not too much saltiness. They're really cool and very versatile. Now let's talk baking ingredients. Obviously you gotta have the essentials always on hand: all-purpose flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder. Next up, both for baking and for breakfast, we always want to keep some Quaker Oats on hand. Make sure you pour them directly onto your countertop as a sort of fruitless demonstration of what they look like. I always keep oats on hand for cookies, bread, or obviously oatmeal. Now let's talk vinegars. These have a variety of different uses and can bring a wealth of different flavors to different dishes. There's a dizzying number of different kinds of vinegars, but these are the basics that I like to keep on hand, starting with apple cider vinegar, which is slightly more mellow and apparently very good for your GI tract. Good old regular white vinegar, of course balsamic vinegar, and red wine vinegar for salads. Champagne vinegar has an especially light and fresh taste, and of course rice wine vinegar is essential for Asian cuisine. Altogether, you've got yourself a vinegar powerhouse. How about oil? These are the bare essentials in my mind. Olive oil for when you need lots of flavor but not very high heat. Don't cheap out on this stuff, but don't go crazy either. Maybe $15–20 is a good range. Then there's grapeseed oil. This has a very high smoke point, so it's ideal for searing. And lastly, canola or vegetable oil for deep frying and baking. I always keep a big jug of this stuff because you need a lot to deep fry. And this one has a great no-drip spout for when you want to pour it directly down your own gullet. I'm just kidding, obviously, don't do that. Now let's take a look at some noodles. I like to keep some good, straight Japanese ramen noodles around for soups and stir-fries, and of course some elbows for spontaneous mac and cheese, and whatever other kind of pasta pleases your palate. You are, after all, the Chef John of your lasagna. Sorry. Always keep a can of non-stick spray around for baking, greasing skillets for pancakes, and pointlessly shaking around. Now let us summon tomato paste. Essential for cooking all manner of Italian dishes and stocks, tomato paste in a tube is way more convenient than the stuff in the can. But cans aren't always bad. How about canned tomatoes? One of the best ways to cook with tomatoes when tomatoes are out of season. I always keep a few cans of 28-ounce D.O.P. San Marzano tomatoes. Some other canned jams you always want to keep on hand: black beans, of course, primarily for chili or pollo a la plancha. You can use dried beans if you want, but these are just a whole lot easier and there's not much of a difference in quality. Another kind of bean I insist on keeping on hand is garbanzo beans. These guys are great roasted and salted as a snack or whipped up into homemade hummus. And if the occasion calls for a pina colada or a curry for that matter, you want to keep some coconut milk on hand. Not to mention a little jar of red or green curry paste. With just these, some vegetables and rice, you've got yourself a meal. Whoa! Speaking of which, let's talk about rice. Gotta have rice on hand at all times. Jasmine is a great place to start because it's very versatile and mildly aromatic. But there's a whole host of different kinds of rice you might want to keep on hand. Red rice, jasmine rice, basmati rice, wild rice, jade pearl rice, or the all-important arborio rice, which I'm fresh out of because we just used it in a recipe. So now let's talk about nuts. I like to keep nuts around just for any old time. You want to throw some in cookies or chicken salad or just in your stupid big mouth. Cornmeal, not so much for snacking, but as a very versatile tool. Whether you're dusting the bottom of pizzas, making corn bread, or polenta, you can't have enough cornmeal. And don't even get me started on grits. That's my best Joe Pesci, and that's all you're gonna get. Now let's talk about the all-important soy sauce. From its obvious uses in Asian cuisine to amping up the umami of a Thanksgiving gravy, this is an endlessly useful condiment. Not unlike Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Wait a minute, is this low sodium Worcestershire? Let's get some real full sodium stuff stuff in here. Screw this. Unless, you need it for like medical reasons. But for your next meatloaf, barbecue sauce, or stir fry, look no further than Lee & Perrins. Just don't go being a dingus and mixing it into your burger meat. Now how about some bottled balsamic reduction? Sure, you can make this yourself, but this is really handy to have around and wonderful to spread over soft cheeses and vegetables. It took me a long time to get a palate for this stuff, but sesame oil is really super useful in all different sorts of salads, noodles, and stir fries. Just make sure you don't overdo it, this stuff is strong. Now to address the issue of pre-prepared stock. Skip the crap in the box and go for better than bouillon in the jar. This stuff is actually made with real chicken and beef, and it smells like real chicken and beef, unlike the box stuff which smells like cat piss. Amongst the other funky smells in our pantry today should be a little jar of Marmite, which is just autolyzed yeast extract, so it is pure umami flavor. It's pretty gross on its own, but mixed into a stew or like a turkey burger, it can do wonders. Oop, look out folks, it's nutritional yeast flakes. It's very at home in mashed potatoes and scrambled eggs and makes a great Parmesan substitute for your vegan friends. Flying in next, we got some cock sauce. A condiment deemed essential by the internet community, Sriracha has taken the world by storm over the past 5-10 years, and with good reason. It's tasty, it's got just the right amount of heat. You might say that Sriracha's really on a roll fish sauce. Fish sauce is just made from anchovies, so again, pure umami. Huge applications, and when poured directly onto your table, smells really, really, really bad, as we found out. On the subject, what do we got in here? Anchovy paste. Same deal, small amounts, lots of flavor. Handy little resealable tube you can keep in the fridge instead of having to crack open a tin of these every time you want to use one. What would a pantry be without honey? The only foodstuff in history that never goes bad, and its uses are endless. Don't let me come over and catch you without honey in your home. Well guys, those are some pantry essentials. I'm sure we're going to make a part 2 real soon after I hear in the comments about everything I forgot. So I just want to talk a little bit about designing my new website with Squarespace. They have this really intuitive, easy to use platform that made it super easy even for somebody like me who's never done web design ever. They have templates, they do domains, they have really good customer service. It's really an all-in-one, one-stop shop for building a really slick website, and I was really happy with the way mine came out. If you want to try it for yourself, you can start your free trial today at squarespace.com and enter offer code Babish to get 10% off your first purchase. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you like the new site, the new show, and I can't wait to cook with you next week.